It's wonderful to see leading Nigerian entrepreneurs writing about their business experiences to inspire others and teach valuable lessons in enterprise development. Let's hope more books like Frank Neji's own will be churned out. The International Publishers Association, IPA, is the world's largest federation of national, regional, and specialist publishers associations. Its membership comprises of 76 organizations from 65 countries in Africa, Asia, Australasia, Europe, and the Americas. Through its members, IPA represents thousands of individual publishers around the world who service markets containing more than 5.6 billion people. It is a non-profit and non-governmental organization founded in 1896 to promote and protect publishing and to raise awareness for publishing in the context of economic, cultural, and political development. An International Publishers Association seminar was recently held in Lagos, and it was the first time ever in Africa. Here's a report on how it went.
Publishers, writers, policymakers, and other stakeholders from different countries in Africa gathered together at the International Publishers Association IPA seminar held in Lagos. It was the first time ever the IPA would hold such an event in Africa.
Why is this seminar on publishing for sustainable development in Africa? Well, for a number of reasons. Because it is long overdue. Because rough estimates of African publishing markets say it's worth more than $1 billion. Because there are more than 500 million book buyers across the continent. Because the market is showing cumulative annual growth of 6%. And because this one is important, we simply haven't shouted enough about how important publishing is to the development of the countries that makes up this great continent of ours. We need to prove to the government the qualities we're made up of. We need to prove to the government that we are contributing heavily into the GDP. We need to show governments that we are really employing so many people in the sector.
The event attracted some of the most distinguished African and international speakers and panelists.
An amazing book which I read and was stunned, the book on President Jacob Zuma. The book is called The President's Keepers. The South African government tried to use the Official Secrets Act. By the way, almost every government in Africa has what is called the Official Secrets Act, to try and stop that book from being published. But again, a positive that came from social media was that there was an avalanche of, we want that book to be published. We don't want that person who published the book to be touched. And when the book was launched, on the day that it was launched, records were broken because South Africans turned out in their numbers to ensure that that book was supported and it was published.
Let me just finally say, we in IPA, we have a committee elected by the General Assembly of 9 persons from all over the world. And we are really working on 4 major tasks. First of all is to helping our members to fight for the freedom to publish. Any member can come to us and we will assist as well as we can in their fight in their local community. Secondly, on the general term, we challenge violation of freedom to publish. In some countries, the Publishing Association might find it difficult to stand up against the government or the state, but we, as a committee in the International Publishing Association, can do that, and we do. So we work on cases suggested by our members, but also on cases that we see ourselves, and also working together with our other NGOs like PEN Amnesty and others. We do cooperate, we exchange information, and we work to challenge a violation on freedom to publish.
With the collaboration we have with customs, whereby we now have a protocol whereby we carry out joint inspection with the Nigerian customs. We are actually allowed into the restricted areas where if a container containing copyright protected works is coming into the country, we would obviously carry out a joint inspection with customs, and if we're satisfied that those goods are obviously not pirated, or then we give a clearance certificate before you're able to take the importer is able to take the goods. And as I said, a lot of the containers, 20 out of the 28 containers that we've seized from the ports so far contain books. So the focus is not just on the music and the Nollywood area. We give equal focus to all the areas, and so we don't discriminate. And a lot of the convictions we've actually secured so far, a lot of them actually came out of book piracy.
With the Nigerian and African publishing sectors being the biggest beneficiaries, Sharjah Publishing City, Sharjah, United Arab Emirates, together with the other publishing associations in Europe, Asia and America, made this happen.
It is heartwarming to witness the momentum created by your efforts, which is contributing to the progress of the publishing industry in Nigeria and in Africa. This is great news, because despite the challenges we heard some of the speakers talk about today, there are plenty of opportunities for cross-cultural exchange and for publishers in Nigeria and Africa to be at the forefront of social and economic change and to contribute to sustainable development. Nigeria and Africa, like many emerging markets, have a huge opportunity now to compete at a global level. Emerging markets account for 90% of the global population under 30. And guess what? Africa and the Middle East have the highest proportion. These are the readers of the future. At the same time, contemporary culture of emerging economies is growing in influence globally. You only need to look at the success of Nollywood to see that African culture has global appeal and significant export potential. So why not publishing? I believe it's only a matter of time until these populations and economic trends change the face of the global publishing industry as we know it. I have no doubt that Nigerian and African publishing industries will benefit from these shifts.
Arab world, the African market is growing very much, and we can benefit from the population, the growing in the population in terms of having the focus on the students and the educational books as well as the journal books. So there is 370 million population in the Arab world only. 100 million out of that are just students, while the African market is 1.5 billion as a population. There is 500 million students living in Africa.
But the event was not all about intellectual discussions. With the hosting of this event, the Nigerian and African publishing markets might just be attracting the much-needed attention of the world.
This is where we have to end the show today. As always, please send us your comments and feedback through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. I am Olakunle Kasumu. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.